Hey everybody, welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast covering the video game industry. Join us every Thursday for a discussion about the latest gaming news, reviews, and exclusive reveals alongside Game Informer staff and special guests from around the industry. I'm one of your hosts today, Alex Van Aken, and I'm joined by Marcus Stewart. How you doing, Marcus?
I am doing well. I missed you last week. Also,
likewise.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be missed. R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. That voice you heard as well is Kyle Hilliard. Welcome to the show, Kyle.
Hello, Conky Hong, as you guys dubbed me last week. I think.
Oh yeah, what was mine? I was just Pauline, I guess. Apparently.
Yeah, you were Monkey Song, aka Pauline.
Yeah, you're the protagonist. Is Pauline the protagonist?
I was gonna say I don't know if that's accurate.
It's Donkey Kong.
She's the what is it? The deuteragonist. That's like the second protagonist.
I mean, she's like the
supporting character.
Yeah, like sidekick, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, she's always on screen. That's a protagonist to me.
I mean, so is Robin.
She isn't in the first couple minutes. It takes like an hour to get Pauline on your shoulder.
That's true. Okay,
That's true.
I was wrong. Charles Harte, how you doing?
Oh, banana.
Nice. Yeah, me too. I was gonna say
I do like that sound bout. I think I've considered, like, is that a good text message tone? Is the banana?
Banana.
Is it in the English and Japanese, you think, or is it the Japanese word for banana? And if you play it in Japan, curious.
I feel like
none of us know the answer.
Yep. Yeah, I was just in Japan. If I had been playing the game there, I could have asked.
Yeah, so. Too bad. Well, it's going to be a packed show today. We're going to be talking about our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 cover story, along with a lot of exclusive bits in there. Marcus, after that, is going to chat through Wuchang Fallen Feathers. And then we're going to talk about Donkey Kong a bit more. I know we talked about it a lot last week, but the crew here has had time to play it. Kyle's probably the furthest, I'm guessing, out of all of us. At the time
of this recording, I literally beat the final boss, and then we started the podcast, so I just turned off my Switch screen. So I'm going to turn my Switch back on and watch the ending. In theory, you know how these games are. Sometimes there's an extra boss and stuff, but yeah. And then later in the show, we got a couple other of smaller games we want to chat through that we're pretty excited about. So before we get into the show proper, I do just want to say, if you want to support the show, support the podcast, keep the lights on, please consider getting a Game Informer magazine subscription. You can get a print subscription if you are in the United States, and that will get you 10 issues a year with these nice glossy covers, great paper stock. It's been cool to see everybody's feedback on the magazine now that they're getting it in the mailboxes. I
finally got mine. And
good, I'm glad.
The legends were true. It feels great and like premium, and it feels like I rubbed it on my face.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it was like, man, I would rest my head on this like a pillow.
Yeah, part of your skincare routine going forward.
Or like a xylophone looking thing, which is like just three slats. The beds in Donkey Kong Bonanza have to be the most uncomfortable.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that. Yes, it is. He does have a weird bed.
Yeah. And then, of course, you can get a digital subscription as well. That is cheaper and is available internationally. So if you aren't in the US and can't get a print magazine yet, then please consider getting a digital one that gets you access to all of the same content. You just get to read it digitally in PDF form. We're exploring other ways to get that to you as well. So all of that, if you are interested, just head over to gameinformer.com/subscribe. 10 issues a year. It's a fantastic, in my opinion. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the magazine every month, and I think it shows. And I think in particular,
this next one has a lot of blood.
This next one has a lot of blood. That's what I was gonna say. You read my mind.
Yeah,
and a pack-in Dungeons and Dragons poster for physical subscribers.
And I think it's worth pointing out, because people have asked that if you haven't gotten your magazine yet, it is coming.
Yeah. If you, so just a little inside baseball. the way that printing works, and that's not a very condescending. I didn't mean for it to sound condescending.
To be clear, like we're learning this too, you know.
On the paper.
Is that we essentially have like an internal first wave where it's like these are the people who have signed up before the soft deadline, right? And so we send those off to the printer to begin printing the batches. And then we have kind of like a overflow window where you can still subscribe and get the issue, but it'll be via like a second wave, like a week later or so. So if you haven't gotten yours, you're likely in the second wave, but it should be coming. There's no other indication that it wouldn't be. If you have any order issues, you can feel free to email me, alex@gameinformer.com. Please use that sparingly, but I am here as a resource if you really do think yours is something wrong with your order. But
is there a way to track the order? I felt like I saw some people being like, I can see when it's coming, and I wasn't sure.
That's more so because we just send it through the USPS. So depending on your area, your postal service might have like delivery notifications. That's what a lot of people are seeing that through.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll get an email sometimes. It's like your issue's coming today. I don't really get much more than that, but
I have had informed delivery forever, and they've never mentioned the Game Informers whenever they come. It always surprises me.
What they got
for
against
some
us?
reason, it's not. It's fine because I get them anyways, but it also doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't guarantee that it'll be in that.
That's out of our hands, to be clear.
For what it's worth, we have shipped all of the issues. Now it's just a matter of the postal service sorting it all and getting it to you. So thanks for your patience on that.
Yeah, it is coming. I've seen people asking in the Discord and in various spots, and you guys have gotten emails. So I thought this would be a good time to sort of address, like, we swear it's going to come. I only just got mine. So
yeah. And there was a little bit longer of a wait period with this first issue because of logistics, we're told.
Yes.
So you should not be waiting this long in future issues, but we appreciate your patience, excited for you to get it in your hands, and yeah, again, really appreciate all the enthusiasm around the product. We're really proud of it, and and appreciate you all. But without further ado, let's get into the show. Charles, I'm going to kick it over to you. We both played Bloodlines 2. We can talk about our open world and combat impressions. We've been able to play those hands on. We learned a lot about the world and the various intrigue and politics and figureheads that are kind of the main players within Bloodlines 2. And I'm going to kick it over to you, Charles, to kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, so Bloodlines 2 is pretty different from the first game. It is a first-person RPG, and I would consider it an action RPG. That term means a lot of different things depending on what game you're looking at and how you consider it.
Yeah.
But, you're leveling up as you do combat, and there's like a skill tree with stuff you can unlock, and that's usually my criteria. And yeah, you're playing as this elder vampire named Fire. She's 400 years old, but for the past... I'm saying she because we played as the female version, but you can be male or female. But I'm probably just going to use she for all this because that's just...
Yeah, is it spelled fire like flame?
Phyre.
Gotcha.
Like is how it's spelled. And it's because the first thing she sees when she wakes up is a poster for a band called Fire. And that's just like
so she's just like, I think I'll go by this because I like this
She's known as the Nomad, is like the term she's referred to as, and I assume that she has a different name that she's like concealing for one reason or another, but she just goes by Fire in the game when we played it.
Man, imagine if it was like a Pillsbury ad or something.
Pillsbury the vampire.
This works.
But yeah, so it's first person melee combat depending on which clan you choose. And yeah, we mentioned this a little bit on the reveal live stream, but Alex and I were like not sold on this game necessarily. Like we were excited to go, we were glad to be invited, and we thought it was an interesting story.
I think we agreed it would be an interesting story for sure.
Yes.
Whether or not it would be a good game or ostensibly a good game, because we still haven't played the final thing, but like yeah, that was kind of like our attitude going into it.
Yeah, which is fun. You know, you don't necessarily pick a cover game because you think it's going to be game of the year. You're like, what is going to be an interesting story that people would want to learn about and read about. So we were not going into it with like, sky high expectations, and we were like gradually won over like over the course of the demo and the more we saw of the game. It seems like I think a different thing than we were expecting it to be. It is like narrative based. It seems to be linear. There's like an open world Seattle you can be in. It's also does a thing I always like where it's like a very specific time and place, where it's modern day Seattle, specifically at Christmas time. And because you're a vampire, you can only go outside at night. So it's always all Christmas lights all the time, a la like Batman Arkham Origins or something. And
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you had any other specifics you want to cover, Alex, or.
Yeah. I really enjoyed what I played of the combat. I think that was something that a lot of even like fans of the original Bloodlines back in 2004, the combat was like the main detractor, I think, from folks' the enjoyment, their enjoyment of the game. But the story and the RPG elements really kind of kept people around and made it this cult classic. And there's a lot of history going into it, a lot of Troika, the original developer, shut down right shortly after it released, and then the sequel kind of starts to get greenlit in the late it was like 2010s.
Yeah,
late 2010s. This gets greenlit. Another studio works on it first, then it is given to
that's Hardsuit Labs.
Yeah,
and they not only like worked on it, they like revealed the game. They showed it off. I think it was announced at GDC 2019 or around then. And it was like shown to press at E3 of 2019. So it wasn't just like the concept of a game. It was like a thing people saw, a thing that we would have like featured in our magazine in the preview section, and probably did at the time.
I was gonna say we may have,
yeah. And then it was like, and we're gonna come out in early 2020, and not a lot of things came out in early 2020 for a variety of reasons. But then it got delayed, and then delayed again, and then they let go Brian Mitsuda, who was like the lead writer on the original Bloodlines that they brought back for this game. A few other like higher up people were let go. And then they announced that they were essentially canceling the Hardsuit Labs version of the game and handing it over to the Chinese Room, which is the new developers who you might know from recently Still Wakes the Deep. They did Everybody Gone to the Rapture. They did Dear Esther. They took over the develop. Sorry, Alex, I basically stole the story from you if you're fine.
No, you're good. You're good. I think I knew them best from probably Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. I didn't get to Dear Esther until after that one, but an interesting pick. But then you kind of see with like Still Wakes the Deep, some of that gets, you can kind of see them start to flex their muscles a bit more. And then with this game, it really feels like, oh wow, no, this is, you are much more than just, like a walking simulator studio. Like this feels great.
I can see why you would pick them from like a narrative perspective. And when we were there, we were like, oh, but they tried really hard with the combat and it works and it feels good. So it wasn't just, they clearly were like, this is what we need to do to make this game work. And then they executed on that, at least from what we played, which was cool.
I mean, how much of that, I forget how much you get into the Discover Story, but how much of that design was carried over from the Hardsuit version? Like was that combat already in place? Then they just refined it, or did they just build that from scratch?
So the whole situation, they were very like cagey about, and there was like an extent like going into it, they were like, hey, like, don't even ask questions about this because we can't talk about it legally, or I assume there's also some like reputational thing, but whatever the deal is there, it's like it was all owned by one thing. But so we can see from like early trailers, there's like characters. There's a guy, I can't remember what his name was.
You mean trailers from the Hardsuit version?
Correct.
Okay.
There's trailers from the older version of the game where it's clear that they took older character models or the ideas of older character models and they become new characters in this new version. There's one guy in the new game called Tully, and you can see his character model in one of these 2019 the Hardsuit versions. But he's like a new voice actor. He's got a new attitude. He went from being like a kind of a gruff, I think like British dude, to like a very like Ryan Reynolds type.
Yeah. He's a funny character. I like him a lot. Yeah, so there's still not, there's still a lot we don't know about the development, but you can see certain assets brought over. My understanding with the combat was like, this is pretty, my interpretation of what we learned was that the Chinese room did a lot of work on that piece and getting it to feel right and feel good. And so I'm not sure if that was something that Hardsuit started and then they picked up or what, but a lot of the game has been like, they kind of, it seems like they're getting like their shot to do it their way.
Yeah. And they spent like, it's been in development for like 4 years. So it's not like they just lifted a thing and then slapped some new paint on it. Like they've clearly been like spending time developing systems and such.
Yeah. But I think that the world is really charming to run around in. It's been a while since I've played a vampire game. Like I'm trying to think
Alex,
of other.
You reviewed Redfall last year. How could you forget that?
Was that last year? That was the year before.
I guess that was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was the last.
Vampire
was that your last vampire game? Because I could understand why
you play as a
anymore.
vampire hunter in that game as well. So a little different.
Okay.
And then I guess there's like some like Elder Scrolls quests I can think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for as many like zombie and like werewolf games and that sort of thing, I feel like I don't get there is a Vampire, which is I hear great things about, but
the Don't Nod game.
But my point is they're few and far between, and there's a novelty to it for sure. Like I said, I enjoy walking throughout the streets of Seattle. I think there's a lot of fun dialogue that you hear and pick up. And one of the things that we were going to lunch, and was it Alex that mentioned this, Charles? Yeah. He mentioned to us while we were walking to lunch or dinner that like the NPCs are written in a way that like they don't want you to feel bad for feeding on them.
They tried to make them a little bit annoying, which I appreciate. They're
annoying or outright like rude and mean at times.
So it's like everyone in this city is a jerk.
A little bit. So that like players don't feel like bad about like engaging in the various systems in the game.
I like that. That's smart.
Yeah, and I think that like it works. But yeah, there's go ahead, Charles.
I was gonna say I want to talk about the combat a little bit more specifically.
Yeah.
So the way it works is at the start of the game you pick your clan. Clan is what those are the Bloodlines. That's what it's named after. Also this whole world we didn't mention is Vampire the Masquerade, which is a TTRPG tabletop role-playing game where you play as vampires, and it's kind of a game designed to be like, we're gonna give you every conceivable vampire fantasy that you could think of and try to fulfill it in some way. So if you play the tabletop game, there's like a lot of different ways you can be a vampire, and there's, I want to say 13 different clans you can be a part of that all have different abilities, and they're usually taken from people will indoctrinate certain types of people into that clan. So the Ventru clan, for example, they're very like high and mighty aristocratic elite types. You wouldn't just bite a random person and make them Ventru. You would be like, I'm gonna go find like a CEO or a noble from a foreign country or whatever. Like those are the people that would be the Ventru because they think they're like the best vampires there are. In this game, you can be 4 clans, which I believe is less than Bloodlines 1. I think there's a lot more variety in that game, and it was a lot more narrative based. This one you can be 4 clans, and then they'll have, I think, 2 coming as DLC. But you can be the Bruja, which are kind of like your aggressive boxer bruiser types. You can be the Banu Hakim, which are very stealth melee focused. You can be the Ventru, which are
kind of taking over people's minds.
They're like mind control type guys, and these are like the high mighty people. And then the last one is the Tremere, which are like blood sorcerers. So they use their own blood. They're like blood benders, but they can do that. And they're the only like ranged class in the game because they can like make blood daggers and throw them off at people.
They can teleport and like cause people to like turn people into bombs and explode them.
What?
Using their blood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross. So you'll pick your clan at the start of the game, and that's like the first skill tree you get. But as you go through the game, you can find different like mentors that will teach you or essentially let Fire remember these other skills that she has, because she's like a 400-year-old vampire, and you're not locked into one set of skills. So the idea is that she's like remembering that she's like, oh, I'm a Banu Hakim, but I picked up some blood magic, 250 years ago in Lithuania or whatever. So that's like the basics of the combat. I picked Banu Hakim. I did take a personality test that tells you what your clan is, and it said I was Banu Hakim. They're very like idealistic.
Like in game, you take like you answer a couple questions by yourself.
This is like on a website, like an official Vampire the Masquerade website.
Is that the one that Jason sent you?
Maybe. I don't know. I think one of the PR people sent it to me. But yeah. So and it's that one is. And then obviously you're a vampire. You drink people's blood. And when you drink people's blood in combat, every ability has like certain little points. I don't think there's like a word for it. It's just like a number of feeds. So like, for example, the Banu Hakim have a slash they can do that instantly decapitates anyone, which is one of the ways that and
it feels good.
It feels good. In Vampire the Masquerade lore, that's like one of the ways you can kill a vampire is you can decapitate them, or you can, I think, burn them. Anyways, when you use that move, it costs like 2 points or whatever, and every time you feed in combat, it fills up one of those points. So you can cycle between your abilities. You can use them all at once, but you have to always be feeding to make sure you can like replenish your like active abilities over time. If you're out of combat and you're like out on the streets and you're talking to one of these jerks, like we were saying, you feed on one of them. That's like a social feed is what they call it. And it doesn't kill them. You're not like draining them of their blood. You're drinking a little bit of their blood, and it puts them in like a weird, like hazy, euphoric state. So they kind of like lose some memory and they just kind of stumble around. But if you do that out of combat, all of your abilities completely refill. So it's like a little harder to do because you don't want to be caught.
Yeah, and if you get caught, you're breaking the Masquerade, which is like this agreed upon social contract between all the vampires to keep themselves, safe and not hunted.
Are the streets like super populated with people? Like, is it easy to isolate someone so that no one sees you?
It's Christmas in Seattle, so like there's snow everywhere. It feels like there's like an appropriate amount of people walking around.
It's like 3 a.m. a lot of time too, so it's like late at night.
Yeah,
so
there are people walking around,
but it's a little more sparse because it's late.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dark alleys. That was one thing I enjoyed them talking about is like the game design of a dark alley. They wanted all the streets to feel really bright so the alleys could feel dark and you would feel like safe in them to be like, oh, I'm away from all the prying eyes. And also, if you ever want to get on like a roof, you can like climb up scaffolding and stuff. They specifically don't have any of that on the main streets. It's all in the alleys to kind of like make you feel at home there, to be like, if you're ever unsafe, you're like, oh, the alley, my home.
Yeah. And can you explain blood resonance a bit, Charles?
Yeah.
That's
so
kind of tied into social feeding.
There's a mechanic that's in the 5th edition of Vampire the Masquerade. So this wasn't in the first Bloodlines game because this is years after that game came out. That is like people basically like charge their blood with emotions, just like a vibe that they have. And certain like clans of vampires will feed on those vibes of blood and get more power from them. And you can kind of sense it with like your vampire senses as you're walking down the street. And you can be like, okay, this person has sanguine blood. And that means that if they get like really happy or aroused, then I get some like bonuses from them. But it's always like you can see that they have the potential to have their blood like resonance awakened, but you always have to like get it out of them. So in that case, you would have to like seduce someone or compliment them and make them really happy, and then they'll be like, I'll follow you wherever, ha 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 ha. And then you walk into an alley and then you drink their blood and you get the points. And those are, if you get enough like sanguine points or choleric points or whatever, it's like the 4 humors from like Renaissance times. That's how you can unlock abilities from the other clans. So if you're just doing your own ones, it's like just skill points. But if you're like a Banu Hakim and you're trying to unlock Ventru skills, then it's doing stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like kind of like the lore of Vampire the Masquerade and how like the vampires in this world are kind of in on the bit of like, in Vampire, like there are certain vampires that might be like propagating old wives' tales and myths about vampires, like stabbing them in the heart to kill them, right? When in reality, in this game universe, if you get kind of staked in the heart, you're just kind of paralyzed and you can kind of come back to life. And so it's interesting to see like we met up with Jason Carl on this trip, who's like a very brand manager at at White Wolf on Vampire as a whole, prominent personality in the TTRPG space and like actual play spaces. And we got to get to know him on this trip, and he was kind of like filling me in on, this huge, vast tabletop lore that's been around for so long. And I really like that kind of twist on it. Like, they're in control of the messaging. That is why the Masquerade is so important. And that you will get like staked in the heart by an NPC if you like do too much in the game and kind of reveal that you're a vampire publicly. Like you will kind of get arrested for what it's worth, and you kind of get sent back to a checkpoint.
Are people walking around with stakes?
It's specifically like if you breach the Masquerade enough, so that's like doing any vampire stuff in public, then someone will basically spawn behind you, stake you in the stomach, and then you get a game over.
Oh, a vampire will do. I thought you meant like a regular person.
No,
okay.
yeah.
No.
There are
another vampire.
We didn't encounter them in our demo, but they've talked publicly that there are like vampire hunters in this game, and that's like a thing in the lore of Vampire the Masquerade. But there are like hunters that are like looking for vampires that we haven't encountered yet. But theoretically, they might be like, aha, stakes to the heart, that'll kill them, and they're like, they don't actually know.
Yeah. I don't know if we can get into the specifics, but we also encountered another like character who is kind of like, it seems like you just kind of stumbled into this world in a really funny way, in an interesting way. And it's cool to kind of see all those dynamics. Yeah, they do. And see how like somebody in the real world might actually end up amidst vampires. And like, I think that's a cool concept for, and it seems like there's a lot of variations of that kind of stuff, and they play with vampire lore in general in a really fun way.
It's also the other thing I was going to say is like the traversal in the city is very fun. It's like really cool.
It is.
So like you can you have to do it like on a rooftop or like away from people, so there is like a risk kind of factor of like you can't be seen or else you're breaching the Masquerade. Though sometimes if you're like moving fast enough, someone will be like, a person just sprinted down the street, and then later they're like, maybe I'm just seeing things, or maybe it was just a really fast normal person. But if you're like jumping from rooftop to rooftop, there's like a normal sprint, which is just like a human level sprint, and then there's vampiric sprint, which is like super speed. If you're vampiric sprinting, you get like super long jumps, and you can like glide in the air. So as you're like exploring the city, it's like this cool like sprinting and jumping, and I think it's Kyle was talking about the Infamous series the other day. I've only played Infamous Second Son, but I believe there's like a super speed ability in that game.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me a bit of City of Heroes.
Another Seattle game, Second Son in particular.
Is that really Seattle?
Whoa. Yeah, that's Seattle.
I would love to see that play.
The back in the day, City of Heroes, which is my first MMO I played, you could level up your character, and you had like they had like teleporting, flying, super speed, and super jumps. And one of the things you could do was unlock multiple movement options. And I loved being super speed and then going into a super jump and like scaling like buildings and stuff. And it's kind of like reminded me of that a bit.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of, sounds almost cool. Like Crackdowny. I don't know if it's quite that, but maybe it's just
there's something there.
It's first person, right? Or is it first person? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Can you be third person at all, or is it strictly first person?
I don't think so.
No, just first person. Yeah.
Okay.
It is also the fastest ladder climbing I've ever seen in a game, which was so exciting because I was like, I forgot how much I hated slow ladder climbing, and they've definitely got better at it over the years, but like Like the way you the fact that you always, I feel like, super speed up a ladder to me is they were like, we know you don't want to do
I love
this.
that.
We'll
That's
just let
it.
you zip up.
That's a little thing, right, Charles? It's like that you
Yeah.
might not like highlight, but it's like I love that, man. Like nothing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about World War Z VR a little bit later, but that VR ladders, VR, we're done. I don't want to do this anymore. Let's get rid of it. You know,
Every video game character climbs like a wrestler does when they're in a ladder match, where they just climb unreasonably slow, and it's like you could zip up there if you wanted to, but I get it, drama.
I think
it is fun
like
because you can also just like scale buildings if you're like kind of using that vampiric
that's cool
dash, and like you can just kind of like run up the side of them, and you kind of like scurry up them in a really fun way.
Yeah. Oh, you also have freaking telekinesis. These are just like base things. These aren't connected to clans. So you can like lift stuff up, you can throw it. If people have guns, you can like force pull the guns away from them, and then using the force, it's not the force, but I'm gonna call it the force, using the force, shoot the gun back at them. And that's a thing that I really like of like, you could just hold the gun and then shoot it, but something about like using your telekinesis to shoot it is so much more like vampire of it. Like mechanically it's identical, but like it would be really boring to watch this game if like the best strategy was always to just take guns and then shoot them with guns, because like, well, then I'm not being a vampire anymore. I'm just shooting a bunch of people. I'll just play Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah.
And then also my last like point I'll hit is mixing and matching the different clan abilities can get like very funky very fast, which is cool. There's like one Ventru ability that like tags everyone in a certain spot, and then they all are susceptible to the same mind control thing, and you can put that on like other classes that have like things that are similar to mind control. But in one instance they were just trying to like show us off the powers, and they tagged like a whole crowd of people, and then there's just a like kill yourself command that the Ventru can do, and it just like instantly kills like 12 people in your sight, and it makes you feel like insanely powerful. Now, massive Masquerade breach, I think if anyone is alive to see it, so it wasn't a massive Masquerade breach because we killed all the witnesses and stuff, but stuff like that is like it's very exciting that like you can unlock new stuff, but then because you have the old stuff, it'll like make you into this cool amalgamation of vampire traits.
There's also a like cloaking ability you can get that I forget which one. Is that a Ventru or
it's probably Banu Hakim, but I don't know exactly what you're saying.
Like you can kind of go invisible for a short amount of time, and you can use that to like if you time it right, you can like kill somebody and people won't be able to see you.
Yeah, so yeah, that is a Banu Hakim thing. I think they can turn invisible. I was gonna say also every clan has a different passive they get when they feed on someone in combat. The Banu Hakim, they have like an invisibility thing, I'm pretty sure, but also when they feed on someone in combat, they become silent. So it's like a cool thing where it's stealth, but it's like fast stealth because you want to get it while you still have your silence thing, but you can just like sprint from one place to another and just feed on everyone from behind without them ever knowing. But yeah, I was gonna say my big closing point was just gonna be we were impressed. We walked away impressed. There's a lot of, more details on the cover story proper, but it doesn't feel like a weird game that's been in development hell for a decade. It felt like a game that felt like a normal game, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't feel the age on it like you can with some other games that have been in development for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known it was a thing if you hadn't told me that it was a thing. Whereas sometimes, you pick up like I don't know, how long was that Golem game in development?
Oh, wow. But I was thinking of like Duke Nukem Forever, where you could feel how dated that game was.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that sense. I mean, I wouldn't say it feels like the next new Call of Duty, in terms of like polish.
No, yeah.
But like it feels polished and it feels fresh, and it seems cool. Also, I'm realizing it's not invisibility I was thinking of. It's the way that the teleport works. Is I think what I was thinking of, where it's kind of like you're kind of teleporting out of their sight. That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
But yeah.
There's also like a super speed thing that the Banu Hakim have that also feels like you're invisible. But
yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of.
I was gonna say
there's a lot of vampire abilities.
There's a lot of abilities. I keep seeing people that are like, it's just very funny to have played the game and been like, wow, what a cool game. And seeing all the comments on our cover reveal or stuff related to the game that's like, there's no way this is a real game. I'm like, it is a real game though.
We played it. Yeah.
I know it's been in development for a long time, but it's a real game. That's all I can say.
Played it for several hours. Yeah.
That should have been my headline of the cover story. It's a real game.
Yeah.
I promise.
By the way, because we have the magazine archive, I did look, and in the 2019 Monster Hunter, was it Monster Hunter World expansion cover issue? It was Iceborne.
Yeah.
There is in fact a preview written by J.B. Gwaltney for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, having played it at E3 20.
Can you read the first paragraph real quick?
That would be fascinating to go back and read.
Oh, this is weird. It says, if anyone named Alex Van Aken ends up working here in the future, I don't know. This is what it says.
Yeah. Huh.
I'm just kidding. Was that clear? That was a joke.
Yeah, I didn't think JV was a prophet.
Let's see. Over the years, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines has emerged as one of gaming's most cherished cult classics, thanks to its darkly enchanting portrait of modern Los Angeles, where vampires operate under a strict law known as the Masquerade to keep humanity unaware they exist. We checked out the unexpected sequel at E3 and came away with impressions. Bloodlines 2 might prove to be a strong successor to the original that the original deserves. So
what's the release date on that?
2020. That's what it says. They didn't make it. They missed it.
That's funny. Well, cool. Yeah, that's kind of our topic on our discussion on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Definitely go check out the cover story if you're a digital subscriber, and if you're a print subscriber, that should be hitting your mailboxes in the next couple of weeks. And you can read about it there, but a lot of good details in there as well, along with a bunch of other goodies. But Marcus, let's kick it over to you now to talk about Wuchang Fallen Feathers, which is a new action RPG, right?
Yeah, very much in the Souls-like genre.
Okay.
I'm going to apologize in advance if I talk all over the place, because there's so much to get into with this game in terms of systems and whatnot. And outside of talking to Jessica Cogwell over at GameSpot about this game while we were in Japan, I have not had a chance to really verbalize where I'm at with this game. I will start off. I just sort of like flatly, I'm enjoying the game. I think the game is very fun. My sort of base litmus test for really anything I play for work is, would I want to keep playing this if I was not obligated to? And the answer is yes.
All right.
So that's
a good question to ask. I ask myself that often.
Yeah, like if I just didn't have to when I walk away from this, no, I want to finish this game. So, and I am a Souls fan. I love From Software stuff. I love like Lies of P. I like Neo. Like I'm a Souls daddy. Number one right here.
I'm going to change your job title on the masthead of the website. Souls Daddy Marcus Stewart.
Well, he used to be Dan Tack, but then I was his soul stepson. But since he left, I think I inherited, like through succession, the Souls that goes around. Yeah. So I played this game at Summer Games Fest, and I wrote a preview about it. And 505 Games, who's publishing this, this is developed by Lindsay Games, who I believe is a Chinese developer, I think. They described it to me as Chinese Bloodborne, which in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe calm it down a little bit here, because I think Bloodborne's one of the best Souls-likes ever made. I love Bloodborne. But it's when I played it there, because I played it for about an hour at SGF, and I thought it was just fine. Like, it was like, oh, this is absolutely competent, but it turns out an hour was not enough time to really get a sense of what the game is trying to do. Which I knew at the time, but now that I've played many more hours of it, it's so dense with systems. So the general pitch is that you play as a amnesic pirate named Bai Wuchang, who awakens in China. It's like set during the Ming Dynasty, and the region of China that she's in is inflicted with this supernatural sort of plague called the Feathering. And what it does is that if you get infected, you slowly turn into a mindless monster. And the sign that you're infected is that you sprout feathers on your body. And so she has feathers on her arm because she herself is infected. However, for some reason, she has not turned into a monster. So that's part of the intrigue. Classic. It's like, well, what's special about her? However, she does suffer from the other side effect of being infected, which is you lose all your memory. So you're kind of have multiple goals here. Like, one, you're trying to reclaim your memory, and you're finding out pieces about her past and how she ended up there as you throughout the game. And then you're also trying to find a cure for the feathering, because even though you're not a mindless monster now, it doesn't mean that you won't become one at some point. And then
So this reminds me of like Sekiro a bit, where like you're kind of playing vignettes sometimes, like almost like flashbacks, by like loading into them, kind of like.
Oh, do you mean like those like specifically those flashback sequences in Sekiro?
Yeah, is that how this is like kind of playing out? Okay.
No, it doesn't have any of that. Like, at least from what I've seen, the bits of like memory that I've recovered is either I found a note that has something, or I meet an NPC who like knows who Wuchang is and it's like, oh, remember that?
Gotcha.
Remember that thing you were doing? And then that's kind of like, oh, okay. But yeah, and then also you're trying to find the source of this plague and put a stop to it. So the Sekiro comparison comes in that this is very much a Souls-like in a sense of, it's not so much about like turtling up and blocking. It's very much about aggression and evasion, and just sort of trying to keep moving and outmaneuvering your opponent, but very much like get in there, get some damage, dodge, but try to stay on them. So here's where things are going to get a little complicated, because there's maybe too many different ways to engage with the combat. So I'm trying to think of where to start here, because there's so dodging, right? That is your main form of avoiding damage. That is referred to as shimmer. There's a lot of like strange proper nouns for simple systems. That
shimmer is the damage, or shimmer is the
shimmer
dodge?
Is dodging.
Okay,
that's
so
when
you're not
dodge,
dodging, you're shimmering.
You're shimmering, yes.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. I know it's very clear. And every time and every time you dodge, you are rewarded with a point that is called Skybound Might, which is essentially a mana point. And when you can have up to 3, though you can unlock more and raise that
Marcus.
cap. You honestly, you probably want to. So every time you dodge, you get a point of mana that you can spend to cast magic spells, because you can have magic spells in this game. And
you mean every time you shimmer?
Every time you shimmer. So if you run out of Skybound Might points, you're gonna have to dodge, which is what encourages you to stay in the fight. Like, running away isn't a good idea. It's like, oh, I want to shoot maybe a cool fireball, or summon down lightning, or like shoot a giant ghostly flower petal that explodes into like a giant just blast. I better get in there and try to dodge some attacks so I can refill my Skybound Might. Okay,
that's your mana, right?
That is your mana.
Okay.
Which I like. I like being rewarded for dodging. I like dodging in games a lot. Like, I love stylish action. I'm an action guy in general. So I like the idea that this game kind of pushes you to get good at it, because you are rewarded to the point where you can actually beat enemies, including bosses, without ever swinging your weapon. You could just dodge constantly and just spam your magic if you got really good at dodging, which this game is very much like. The enemies and the bosses are very much challenging you. Like, you need to get good at reading movements and evading at the last moment so you can fill up your mana points. So I like that a lot. Now, you do have weapons. You have up to, I believe it's 5 or 6 different weapon types. So you start the game with a longsword, which is like, I guess canonically Wuchang's weapon, because like people will see it in the story, like cutscenes, and be like, oh, I recognize that blade, you're so and so. But you can also equip a short sword, you can have an axe, you can have a spear, you can have hammers, but you can only equip 2 different weapons at a time. Now, every weapon has a discipline tied to it. And disciplines are essentially special attacks that are tied to that weapon. So for my longsword, for example, which is my main weapon, like my disciplines, like one of them is like this sword dance where she just twirls a sword around and hits a bunch of enemies, does a lot of damage, and you execute those by hitting the left trigger. And you can have two different disciplines equipped at a time. So basically you can have two special attacks for each weapon that you're wielding. Does that make sense?
So 4 total.
So 4 total between your two weapons.
Does that
I'm adding
Skybound Might?
No, well, actually, yes. Those also spend Skybound Mount. Your
2
your
times 2
disciplines.
equals 4. I've just written this down as well.
Yeah, I can see.
Drawing an arrow to Skybound Might.
In the video version, can we do the like equations floating around as I'm talking, explaining all these systems? As you can see on the audio version, Alex just held up what basically looks like Oppenheimer's notes when he was building the atomic bomb.
Please keep going.
Yes. Okay, so the 2 weapons I'm going with, I got the longsword that I mentioned up front, and then I've got a short sword, which is, it's quicker, but it also is more for magic. Like it's just sort of like increases magic. So it's like, okay, I want to use my spells. I like having that ranged option, so I'm going to keep this short sword on me. Each weapon also has a giant skill tree associated with it. So when I played the game at Summer Games Fest, the PR told me, they asked me, hey, have you played Path of Exile? And I said, yes. And they said, that's basically what our skill tree looks like. And I said, oh my God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because if you've never played Path of Exile, it has the biggest skill tree I've ever seen in a game. It is just this expansive network of nodes and skills. And the more you zoom out, the more there is. This game is going for that. I have not seen the extent of the skill tree. I don't know if it's quite as big as Path of Exile. I can't imagine it is, but it is big. And it's very much because of that. It is one of those games where you need to decide relatively early on what weapons you're going to stick with, because you cannot afford to spread yourself too thin because of how dense each weapon's skill tree is. And so the game, I mentioned before that the game is very dodge heavy, but you can block if you are using a certain weapon. So you can't block inherently, but if you use axes, for example, that like an axe, one of the disciplines is the ability to block. So if you are a player that prefers to block damage rather than dodge it, that's probably the weapon you're going to want to use. If you're like me and don't mind getting in there and just dodging everything, I recommend swords. But so the skill tree is interesting because of the Path of Exile design. It means that like if you want to increase your base stats, like your stamina bar, your health bar, how much damage you deal just in general, on top of unlocking new disciplines or unlocking more health flask or unlocking or raising your Skybound Might cap, you have to follow the like upgrade paths down a certain way. But it also means that you can't really freely choose which attribute you really want to focus on, because it kind of just shifts depending on the road. So if, like, for example, I'm someone in most Soulslikes where I like to raise my stamina bar quickly because I know that's going to matter. So it's like, I don't even care about health. I'm just going to jack my skill, like all my skill points. I'm going to spend into stamina until it gets to a certain point, and then I'll focus on like other things. You can't do that here because when you're following down a path, you see that it's already predetermined what you're going to get, and those stat upgrades like stamina and strength are the small nodes in between the bigger, more like here's a brand new move or a new like spell. So it's like, oh, I wish I could get more stamina, but if I do, I got to go down this path that maybe takes me down a different road, even though there's a skill over here that I want, but the in between nodes are just health upgrades. So like, what do I want right now? And I'm still sort of, I have not finished this game. It's clear. I should probably point that out too. So I don't have a review yet. So I'm still forming a lot of my thoughts. I still don't know if I like this format for a Souls-like specifically. I'm leaning towards maybe no, just because I do like having that ability. I miss having that ability to like, I just want to put a point in stamina. I don't want to have to look for the node that's like, okay, which node or which branch basically has the most stamina nodes that I can maybe just go down the line and unlock. when it might take me off the path of like, well, I was working on getting more health flasks, but that's got, in between, there's nothing there. So it's like, oh, what do I do here? And in the beginning of the game, like you can level up pretty quickly and get some nodes, but then it's not too long before the sort of like points, the XP economy raises, and it takes a little bit longer before you can even upgrade one node. And that's why I was saying earlier, like you really have to decide early on where you want to spend your points and which weapons, so that you're not especially in the early game when it's easier to level up, you're not wasting your time putting points into something that you're ultimately not going to use. You can respec, thankfully, but still, there were some things I learned early on. It's like, oh, if I started this game with the knowledge I have now, maybe I wouldn't have gone down this road when I did. Sure. But if nothing else, to sort of complement it, I guess, this game, it very much allows you to build very, very specialized build of Wuchang. So on that note, there's another system that I talk about.
All right.
And getting into the
so
weapons.
I've got predestination Calvinism tied into the skill tree. The skill tree next to the Path of Exile.
Yeah. So one thing I like about this game is that it is very much not about loot and getting new weapons. You rarely get a new weapon. I have had I have had 3 different long swords in the probably 20 hours I've played at this point. And when you find a new weapon in this game, it is like an event. You find more armor than you do weapons, because the game is more about raising your proficiency with what you have, rather than here's a new one that might be just, it hits harder overall.
Sure.
Which I actually like, because I can get overwhelmed and annoyed in games that, like, maybe we'll say Neo as an example, which is like you kill a guy and he explodes with like 19 different swords, and then you gotta be like, okay, this one gives me 1 point more, so I guess I gotta shift this out. And then 2 seconds later you find another sword that gives you 1 more point more attacks. You're like, oh, I gotta put that in. So I'm in the menu constantly. In this case, the way you also sort of improve your proficiency outside of unlocking like nodes for that weapon in the skill tree is that there is a system called benediction that you can only do in the save areas, the bonfires, basically. And
wait,
they're basically
important. What are the bonfires in this game? What are the equivalents?
They're like shrines.
Okay.
Like prayer shrines, basically.
Yeah.
And basically benedictions are these little stones that you can slot into it. They're like materia in Final Fantasy, if you really want to, if I could.
Okay.
Yeah, like they don't, but they're like passive abilities. But imagine like slotting materia into a weapon in Final Fantasy
Augments, kind of.
Yeah, and each weapon can have up to 3. So that's so it's like, oh, maybe one, when you have it equipped, it raises your stamina recovery when you have a certain amount of Skybound might points. Sure. Or your sword hits harder when your HP is full. It's like that kind of stuff.
Do the swords themselves have like
stats,
abilities, and modifiers or anything? Like would it be a thing of like, would you add like, I don't know, does more fire damage to a sword that already does fire damage?
Yes.
Or are they... Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I recently got my first new longsword in like forever that like inherently has like a fire like attribute to it, and
Freaking
you can stack it with like, oh, I'm gonna put this benediction that gives me extra fire damage. So it's like for certain, and there are like some enemies do have elemental weaknesses, so you can't like, there's a forest area I went through where they tell you like, hey, there's like evil tree people here, if you hit them with fire it'll really mess them up. So you're like, well, I'm gonna put on all my fire stuff and then just tear through them. So you have those. On top of benedictions, there's another system called tempering.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Also, I should point out that they introduce all these systems in relatively short succession in a way that I kind of wish they didn't. I kind of wish they gave you...
I mean, it's possible there are more that you haven't seen yet.
I think I've seen them all just based on the wheel of like categories for everything that when you go to a save point. I can't imagine they would squeeze in another one, but I guess who knows.
Have you tried to ignore any of them? Like, have you tried to be like, if I don't use any benedictions, will it be fine? Or is it like making like a, when you're losing in combat, you're like, oh, obviously I just need to re-slot stuff in?
So this is a good time to bring up tempering because that's probably the closest one. So tempering is basically it's your arm, your feather arm, your demon arm, basically. So you can find what are called bone needles or different types of needles that I don't know if she's sticking them in her arm, but that seems to be the implication. And you can have up to 4 of these, and you can, but you have to unlock the other slots. Like you only have 1 slot open, and you have to use the skill tree to unlock other slots. And basically, these are another type of passive like trait or ability. So like, I have 1 bone needle, and also you can use the bone needles on like any weapon, but some are better equipped to certain weapons. So it'd be like, yeah, you could use this on your axe, but you really want to use this on your longsword. And it could be things like, and it's also a skill that you have to activate in battle. Like you get an item that allows you to activate your tempering. And basically what she does, and it actually looks pretty badass, is that she like sharpens her blade on her arm. Like she just drags it on her arm, and then the blade might like catch fire if that's what the tempering is. And you're like, that's pretty cool. So like I have like a temporary like that of like, you can light your sword on fire, or you can leech health every time you hit enemies, that kind of stuff. And then the kind of like other bone needles that you can equip sort of add their own little effects. But that is the one that I've not ignored, but it is the one that took me the longest to understand. Like I went a very long time before I realized it was an upgrade, or rather, it was an ability that you had to activate manually. I thought it was like a passive effect, like the benedictions. And then, but I was wondering, like, is it working? Because I used the health leech one a lot. So I was like, well, that's useful. And then I couldn't tell. I was like, am I actually getting health? Is it just so small that's negligible? And plus, you're healing in battle, so it was just hard to track. And then it wasn't until I got so like doubtful about what I was doing that thankfully this game has a very comprehensive like in-game glossary and tutorial system where they will break down all of these systems like, hey, listen, these are the buttons you hit to do this. This is what it looks like. Here's a little video gif of what it looks like, so you know that you're doing it. And then I kept seeing her drag her sword in her arm, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. How does that happen? And then realized it was like an item that I had since the beginning of the game that I was saving because I thought it was something different than what it was. And yeah, so now I'm using my tempering, but I had beaten probably like 6 bosses before I used it. So I guess you don't need it. And I think all of this is to say, now that I think I've gone through all the systems, as a Souls-like, it is a tough game because that's just how it is, right? However, what I like about this game is that it is not oppressively tough. Like I've only been stuck on things maybe at most, maybe like 5 attempts. Like generally I get through things pretty quickly. And again, that's in the early game. That's when I wasn't even like actively engaging with everything the game gives you to do. The hardest boss I came across, at least so far, was like maybe like 8 hours in, and it was very much the like, we're gonna see if you master dodge timing because that's what's gonna get you through this fight. And even that fight, and that took me probably like a good 15 tries. But even then, it wasn't like I don't know how to beat this. I had figured out a strategy that was working. I just had to keep doing it long enough and not die, basically. And that was actually the only boss fight where I actually did come pretty much 90% of the damage I did was just dodge magic. I was like, I'm not even gonna try to hit them. I think that I could do that, but I think a winning strategy for me is that I'm just gonna dodge, build up my mana, and I'm just gonna keep throwing this like crimson spear at them and then just back off because that seems to be the way to go. And I love that that's a valid strategy.
I was gonna say my question is after all this, does it feel like the Bloodborne of China?
I mean, it's in the sense of like the fights are, like I said, it's very dodge and aggression focused, and that's very much what defines, like, if you wanted to distill Bloodborne's combat down to that is what separates Bloodborne from like Dark Souls. You know, like Dark Souls is very much like block, dodge, roll slowly, but like you're kind of blocking a lot. Bloodborne, they took your shield away, and it's like, no, you got to get in there. And that's what this one is. However, since they give you the magic spells, which also you don't have to engage with either, you don't have to use magic, especially if you aren't using the short sword, which kind of has upgrade nodes that purely increase the damage you do with magic. There is a version of Wuchang as a character that maybe isn't like a magician, basically. You know, it seems very flexible. I'm like, how do you want to play this game? Which is nice. And I think, you know, for anyone that maybe didn't like Sekiro and even to maybe an extent Bloodborne, where maybe it felt a little more rigid in how you could like progress and grow your character, this game, it seems like you can go wildly different ways depending on just your preference as a player in these types of experiences. I think the boss fights have all been really fun. Like I said, they haven't been like oppressively hard. They're hard enough to where it feels like an accomplishment to beat them, but not like I want to scream into a pillow and like throw myself out the window hard. And again, you can always see the light at the end of the tunnel, which I think is really important for knowing, like, is this like a hard boss that is fun or a hard boss that is frustrating? It's like I can always see the light of the tunnel. I just have to keep executing well. And every time I screw up, it is my fault. And I know it's my fault. Like, it's either got too greedy or too impatient. And I just need to stick with what's working. And like the other Bloodborne comparison is that it's a lot more like exploration in general is a little bit more linear. Like there are different routes, but they're generally sort of like corridors. Sure. There are some areas that are a little more open, but the other thing I like about this game is that maybe more than other Souls, like it makes the most like economic use of its save points, because you will find like 3 or 4 shortcuts back to the save point that was at the start of the section that you came in. It's like really like it feels special when you find like a brand new save point. And you can freely fast travel between them, which is great too.
Nice.
So you can easily just jump around without having to buy a resource. Also, there's one more system I forgot about that is very important to this game.
I knew there was going to be one more.
I knew I was forgetting something. So this is tied to your feathering, right? So you're slowly becoming a demon. Even though you haven't turned into a demon, you have an inner demon that is within you at all times. And every time you die, you fill up a meter called madness. And it takes a while for it to fill up all the way. Like, you really got to die a lot. But when you do fill it up, it'll tell you, like, you'll see like a message saying like madness descends. And basically what it does is that the higher your madness, the more damage you do, but the more damage you take. So the more you die, the more you become kind of a glass cannon. And which is an interesting system that I kind of like, because again, at this point, maybe I've gotten so good at dodging where it's like, oh, they're technically helping me because I'm dying a lot. So they're like, hey, you can hit harder now, but you're going to get hit more. So technically I could die quicker, but also it's like, but if I dodge really well, then maybe that nullifies the, like, you know, the fact that I'm more fragile, but I'll still benefit from the like attack increase. But
I like that a lot. It like changes the way that it changes your strategy as you go.
Can you
just inherently
like clear it if you don't want that?
So what happens is that once you've maxed out on your madness and you die again, when you go back to retrieve your XP, what happens is that your inner demon spawns, which basically becomes a mini boss fight. So this spectral sword woman spawns where your experience is. And if you want to collect your experience at this point, you have to beat her. And if you don't beat her, your XP's gone forever. But it's like, okay, your madness has reached critical mass and the demon has escaped from you, and now you got to fight it. What I like is that she's not really hard. She's hard enough, but she's not like boss fight hard. Like, she has like a normal enemy health bar, not like a big titled health bar or anything. And she also attacks indiscriminately. So if she's around other enemies, and she'll hit them too. And especially if the other enemies, and other enemies will attack her too, because they're like, we don't know you. So there have been times where I have won this fight because I was around like a tough boss, and then they just clash each other, and then they get into it, and then I'm just sitting back seeing who's gonna win. And
it's
then
it's like a summon.
It's like a summon that hates you.
That's actually cool. Does the bar just reset after that?
And then if you beat her, you get your souls, and then your madness goes to 0.
Okay.
If you don't beat her, do you stay madness? Or is it just like
I believe you also lose your madness. Like, well, if she kills you specifically, like, you can. So I just had this happen where she spawned next to a hard regular enemy, and that enemy kept killing me, but not her. So I was wondering, like, will that still count as, like, will I lose my souls? And the answer is no. She has to kill you.
Interesting.
And then so like every time I went back there, she showed up. Whereas like if she had killed me, that would just be it until, you know, it happens again.
Yeah.
So yeah, like so if she kills you, it goes back to 0, but you also lose all the souls you had. If you kill her, you get your souls back, and you get like, I think like maybe a little extra. And then there's also some times where you'll enter special areas where she'll just come out on her own. Like there's like special zones where suddenly you get a notification that's like madness increasing or something, and then she just shows up. Like it's like Pikachu escaping his Pokeball without asking for it. Where you're like, whoa, I'm not even like madness right now, but it's like, no, you stepped into a weird zone where like, I don't know, the evil in the area just sucked her out and now you have to fight her. But then you get like a special item that you don't normally get when you just beat her when she spawns when she's supposed to, basically. But that's the other thing you're juggling. It's like, hey, if you're dying a lot, you're getting closer to having to fight this relatively difficult, you know, enemy to get your souls back. Which, like you said, Alex, I like that. Like, I kind of like the I like the madness system because it does change the way you play the more you die. And I kind of like not knowing, like you can't see exactly how many points of madness you have if you go into the menu. So, but I kind of like not looking at it because I like being surprised of like, is she gonna show up now? Because I've done a lot, and if I go back to my soul, is she gonna be waiting there? Yeah, and she also has like, I think she has your moves, or she has like some of your moves, and then she has moves that you haven't even gotten yet. So there are like abilities where I'm like, I don't have that, and then I got it later. I was like, that's a cool move. I hope I get that.
I like that she has the pool, like the whole pool of. She has all the skills if she wants them.
All the skills. And
Alex, how's your is your notebook?
Yeah, what are we looking at here? How like insane? Okay, I like that you threw signposts. Yeah, audio listeners, you're gonna want to go to the YouTube version to see this amazing. Oh, Pikachu! Is that a rooster?
Some real sketches.
I started drawing. You started talking about the
zones.
feathering. I just started drawing chickens.
That's good.
And birds.
Yeah, I might recommend crows because there's crows that you can kill to get a special item all over the place. The crows are important. Yeah,
this guy's, I don't know if he's a crow, but
it can be. If you color him black, it's basically a crow. But yeah, it's a fun game. Like my biggest hangups with it are like, I think maybe it throws a lot at you, maybe a little too early. I think maybe it should give players a little bit more time to get used to one system before they say, hey, here's a whole other thing. They like all the stuff I mentioned to you, they tell you in like the first like 2 or 3 hours, and you're like, okay, so it's very easy. Like it took a while before I felt like I truly settled in and knew what I was doing and making educated choices about what to level up, what to put in my sword, all that good stuff. But like I said, the bosses are fun. The enemy designs are like art direction wise, I think it's very strong. It's not the most like fidelity wise, like the most impressive game, especially if you're playing on quality mode, which I represent recommend, I should say. Mode. I represent quality mode, yes. But it looks nice too. Like I'm in like you go to like a cool enchanted forest at one point that looks cool. There's like a snowy area you go to. Like it's pretty varied so far. Like some of the levels are a little annoying in terms of like traps that hit you that you can't see in, or like giant middle fingers. Like I went through the snow area and I was like wanting to scream because there were like mines on the ground that you can't really see unless you really look. So that stuff can be a pain, but when it comes down to just like, I'm gonna get in there and fight a bunch of dudes. The weapons are cool. I got a cool whip sword that's basically like Ivy from Soul Calibur. That it's like, it lets me whip people as I cut them down, and it's great for like keeping them at bay from a range. I'm liking it a lot. It's fun. I don't know if I'd say it's better than I thought it would be, because again, when I played SGF, I was like, this seems competent. But the further I've gotten, the more I've kind of like wrapped my head around the different systems, I've been like, oh, okay, this isn't. My big concern was like, is this going to be like another also ran? Because there's so many Soulslikes now. And
yeah, I've got fatigue. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know if I have fatigue, but it's just harder to stand out. Like Lies of P is an example of something like that came out. It's like, fair. This is great. Like this feels like original in its own way.
That did.
I don't know if it's I don't think it's Lies of P level yet, but I do think if you are in the mood for one of these, and also in the mood for the more like Bloodborne side of this, where it is a little bit more about dodging and sometimes parrying more so than, again, turtling up, then this is a totally good option for that. Like I'm having fun with it, and I want to finish it. So
cool.
Not to be
long-winded discussion about the game. There's a lot to there's a lot to it in a way that it's surprising how much there is to dig into with this game a little bit.
I don't think it's unfair to say Lies of P is Korea's Bloodborne.
No, I think so. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
So we got one.
I was hoping. I was
Do-
just gonna stay silent. I was hoping we could.
Do we have a
ice
Bloodborne?
Charles
What's the
out.
U.S. Bloodborne? What's ours?
Bloodborne. I don't know. A healthcare system.
I was gonna say, what was that? What was that
Well, we like
cybernetic?
Bloodborne, Charles.
What was that cybernetic Souls like from like 20?
The Surge?
The Surge. I know that's not the U.S., but it feels like, I don't know. It gives U.S. vibes.
Sure.
Gives US
Is
vibes.
Star Wars
Vibes.
Jedi Fallen Order?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
It's really not, but it's the only like American
Sure, why not?
Souls-like I can think of.
yeah. Why
That's
not?
like actually good, I guess.
Yeah. Well, cool. Let's hand it over to Kyle. You've been playing Donkey Kong Bananza. You said you just beat the final boss. You have paused the game. You don't know what happens after.
How many bananas do you have?
Yeah, I do want to know how many bananas you have. Is it several hundred?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think I'm at like 120 or something like that.
It's not like Mario where it like puts that number front and center. You know, like you always kind of know
you see
how
in the
many
save file.
Yeah, you know how many.
Oh, does
moves
it
and
really
stars
not?
You have. I mean,
I don't
it's
think
there.
ever-
It's like in the menu though. Like I've only seen it once, and I was like, oh, that's how many bananas I have, because it's like an actual currency in this game that you spend to buy upgrades. You know, so it's not really like just sort of an arbitrary sort of.
You don't need them to
Mhm.
leave.
Yeah. Which it didn't occur to me until I was talking with Jacob Geller over on MinMax. And it's like, yeah, I guess you could technically just never pick up a banana if you wanted to and still make progress in that game. Like,
Oh yeah, because it is just for the skill point.
Yeah.
Are there none of those? There's
You
got
have
to
to
be
pick up the
one of
first
those skill
one.
points that you need, right? Because like there's like the one that makes you punch through harder surfaces. That seems
Well,
important.
you can do it
Well, no,
faster.
yeah,
It
not-
doesn't stop you from going through. Yeah.
I wonder.
Oh, that's
I guess the only one
interesting.
you could maybe make a case for the surf. To
But
be
I
able to
don't-
like surf on top.
I don't
of
think that's an
lava and
upgrade
stuff.
though. I think you can do that whenever you want. I think that like you can.
Well, the one that
upgrade
lets
it.
you go on water it's an upgrade, like
Yeah.
on liquid.
That's true, yeah. But it's just
Yeah.
interesting. I wonder if there'll be, what do they call it, like in Resident Evil, people who do knife runs and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I think we call
Oh,
it
yeah.
raw dogging it.
raw dog.
Raw donking
Yeah.
it.
Raw
Raw
dogging
dogging
it.
it.
I was watching there's a speedrunner streamer named Smallant that I like watching on YouTube, and I was watching the VOD of him playing the game the day it came out. It was very funny just seeing how someone that speedruns games starts it out, where he was in the first area, not even like breaking stuff, just trying to be like, okay, so if I jump and then I roll and then I jump and do this, we can go like 3 seconds without even touching the ground. He's like already trying to figure out movement tech. And he was immediately like, he got so excited that there was a skill tree because he's like, oh, we can do challenge runs where we don't upgrade anything. This game has so much content in it. And I thought that was
Yeah, that's what makes a good game, you know, the
It's got
content.
the content that you can choose to not engage with.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys talked about it a fair bit last week, so I don't know if I have a ton extra to add other than like I'm far along. Like I've technically beaten the game, you know.
I
like,
do have a question for you.
Yeah.
I am what I think is maybe halfway through the game. I'm on layer 600, 700, something like that.
I'm in the forest and that's 600.
Yeah. So
About
you can go
halfway,
back,
yeah.
Charles. If you go back to the divide,
Mm-hmm.
you can go and just go to the other one too.
Yeah.
So I'm on the second one of those.
Yeah, you actually you need to do both actually, I think, before you progress.
Oh, okay.
I think. Or maybe that's apologies.
I've heard that the game like really picks up like at the halfway point. Am I near the halfway point? And if so, like, can you talk about how it picks up? If you even agree with that sentiment?
I do agree with that. I've been liking the game a lot. Like I like it. It's a Nintendo platformer from the Odyssey team. It feels great. It looks great. It's charming as hell. I love Pauline. I like seeing her grow. There's like a great sense of like place to that game, even more so than Odyssey, I would say, of just like making your way deeper and deeper into this world. Just is cool. And you know, that's not to say I was not enjoying it, but I was getting a little sort of like, I don't know, exhausted is maybe too strong a word, of like just breaking through everything. It was just
I'm kind of at that point right now, and that's why I'm asking.
It's just kind of chaotic, and it's like you kind of get it, and they do interesting stuff with it. But all that to say is like in the last like 3 or 4 levels, like my appreciation for the game has grown quite a lot. Like if I was like if I was like I'm not ready to apply a score to it yet, but as I was, and it, you know, like, it's like, you might look at, like, maybe you're listening to this now and maybe my score will even be different than what I'm about to say, you know, because I'm still thinking through it, and like, I haven't seen the ending fully yet. But all that to say, like, as I was playing, I was like, this is great. I'm having a great time. This is like 8.5, 8.75 is kind of where I'm at, you know. But in the last, like, I would say like 4 or 5 levels, that's like gone up to like a 9. Like, I really have enjoyed the end and the sort of the trajectory to the end a lot. Like, it has really elevated my appreciation for the game, and it's like a thing that it's like, ooh, I'm excited, because I have been kind of like speeding through it in a way that I've been enjoying. Like, I haven't really been trying to be completionist about it. Like, even when I play 3D Mario, I usually, you know, I try to get to the end and then I'll go back and like get everything, and that is totally what I plan to do here. Like, I want to go back and do all the sort of bonus rooms, and I do want to get all the bananas and stuff like that. But
I'm glad
like,
to hear that.
Yeah,
because I feel like I'm like sitting at like a 7.5 or an 8. Like, I think I started off really strong, and then I think there's a couple levels in the middle that I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I've been doing this. I'm ready for some new stuff.
Yeah,
and then I'm hoping it picks back up.
There is new stuff, and like, I would almost recommend like I kind of had to change, like, when I play Dark Souls, this is like, I'm the kind of player that likes to roll through all the boxes, right? Like, I remember playing like GoldenEye on N64, and I would have to shoot every box, like, and you can't really do that here. Like, you can, but you're gonna drive yourself crazy, because like every level is like, you can strip it down to its bare bones if you want. Like, it allows you to do that, but like, it's too much, you know? And so I've kind of had to like push against that like temptation that I usually do. And like, I would recommend doing that. Even like, don't worry about gold too much. You know, you do need gold, it is important. But like, don't, like, you know, if you're going from point A to point B, like, don't feel like you need to rip up every element of the
especially
ground
if you
on the way
did it
there.
And
you know,
if you did it in those first few worlds like I did, like, I have created like a foundation of gold that I don't think will ever run out, to where it's like, oh, I don't need to do it as much the later I go, because I've amassed such a fortune, because you know, in the beginning you're like, I just want to do this, I want to smash everything, that I'm just sort of like riding on this, like I'm spending the money from like 1998 basically, as Jay-Z once said.
I felt that way too, Marcus, but my reserves have gotten pretty low in a complimentary way. Like, there is like, I've been kind of impressed with the economics of the game, where it's like, I did have to make choices, if that makes sense, right?
Oh, good.
Like it's like, oh, well, I mean, there's like, you'll find these like trees that you have to feed gold to get like 3 bananas that like take a ton of money, and like, I did at least on one occasion have to go and like farm gold for a while, which is like, there's a couple of good places to go do it. Like, you can like, you know, you could Google like, what's the best place to get gold? I didn't do that. Like, you will know the places to go, like, as you progress. Like, there's one place in particular that I was like, oh, I'm gonna come back here anytime I need gold. I would just wear
the tie that makes treasure chests spawn more often. That's what
I mean, you could do stuff like that too. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess the big takeaway, following up like last week's conversation where you guys did talk about like the baseline mechanics of the game and like how it looks good and it plays well and all that stuff, is like, I have really enjoyed the ending trajectory. Like, the build up to the end has been excellent, in a way that feels very targeted at me. And it's like, Nintendo is good at endings. Like, it's even the recent Princess Peach game, which was like a fine, you know, game like geared towards younger players, had an awesome ending. Like, weirdly, you know. And Bonanza, like, is like, they're pulling out all the stops, you know, like they're just like, all right, we've been building to this, and here's like, this is what everything you've been working towards, and like, you're going to use all your abilities, and it's going to be nostalgic, and it's great. It's really cool. So like, I encourage you to see it to the end if you are sort of hitting that sort of wall of exhaustion, and also like, just you know, just make your way through. You can always go back. It's very easy to go back. Like, you just do the basics of what you need to do, and and like go see the cool ending, and then if you want to keep playing, you can, and if not, you got to see the conclusion, and you'll be happy like me for once in your life. Nintendo will finally make you happy.
Donkey Kong was the first time you've ever been happy.
That's right.
Yeah, now you're gonna start punching walls in your own house to be like,
I know.
in real life.
I've already got the 13-year-old girl, and as my daughter's 13-year-old, I just get her on my shoulder, and I'll start punching stuff. It'll be a good old time.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
But review should be. I mean, I think by the time this podcast goes up, I would think that my review will be on the site, and I would be surprised if it didn't make like my personal top 5 at the end of the year. You know, I think Claire Obscura is still my number 1, but I like Bananza a lot, and it's like I'm gonna go for 100%. It's gonna be like a great game to have on my Switch and just like pop on and grab a couple bananas and like go do something else.
I do have one final question for you, Kyle.
I'll allow it.
How accurate is Pauline as a 13-year-old compared to a real life 13-year-old?
She's a lot more optimistic. She's a lot less dour.
She seems younger to me than 13 in the game. She seems like 8. Like
I agree.
8 with a high vocabulary.
Yeah, is it a height thing? Is that what it is? Or
she's very chibi. I would like 8, 9 or something like that. Because I asked my 13-year-old, I was like, "Wait, how old do you think she is?" And she was guessing like 11 or something.
So wait,
like
is she canonically 13? Like, is that ever stated?
Yeah. It's in the loading screens. She's a 13-year-old girl. Yeah.
Oh, I guess maybe I haven't seen that. Maybe
you haven't been reading all those tips. They're invaluable, Marcus.
No,
there's a lot of lore in there.
Kyle, you mentioned Dark Souls earlier. Would you say that Donkey Kong Bananza is kind of the Bloodborne of Japan?
No, because it's
just thought I'd ask,
because it's it's just pure fun that doesn't make you want to throw a controller against the wall.
He's like, which member of the Void Crew is the most like the Bloodstarved Beast?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a different game that's like the Bloodborne of Japan. We'll probably find it someday.
There's no way of knowing.
Yeah,
I hope.
Yeah, I will say that
good game.
I've been playing it too. I was out traveling, but I played it on the flight back from where I was in Japan, so not a lot of time with it. And I'm still. I probably have the least amount of progress of the 4 of us, but I have not gotten sick of breaking things. I love the destructibility in this game. I think this might have the best destructibility in any game I've ever played. Like better than Red Faction Guerrilla, better than Battlefield.
I don't know about that.
I know it's better than Battlefield. You can't break everything in Battlefield.
You should play the finals. I think that game is a contender for me.
Okay, I have played the finals. I mean, I played it once with you. I have some, but I think just the, honestly, that's maybe a good comparison of like the idea of using the destructibility to solve problems, like the way you do in the finals of like, well, I could do this one way, or I could just blow a hole in the roof and then that fixes the issue. Like I've noticed with this game, like they'll present like, here is a like by the numbers platforming thing, and then I just circumvented it by punching through a wall.
Yeah,
and it's like, and it's cool that they're like, yeah, you can do that too, I guess, if you want. And I take every opportunity to do that just to see like, will they let me? So like, I see a solution that requires breaking something, and then it's like, yeah, they said do that, okay, and it's almost like the other version is almost there for like a joke. To be like, yeah, you could have sat on that platform forever, or you could just be at the other side now.
I mean, there are definitely Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom lessons throughout this whole game. You know?
100%. Yeah,
which is cool, and I like that. But I also do like, I also like that when you go into those little triangle doors, that's where you get the sort of like, all right, we're designing a gauntlet for you that's very specific, and I enjoy those a lot too. I don't always want to circumvent. Sometimes I want to jump on the playground that they made for me.
Yeah, which is also very Zelda of like, these are the shrines of like, here's a very focused, like purposely designed puzzle to show off the different ways you can use the mechanics. Like I did a cool one yesterday where you're like on a wheel of dirt and you're trying to collect
that one's fun.
I love that one. I was like, oh, that's such a cool idea.
Did you get all 3 bananas?
Oh, of course, Alex. Come on, who are you talking to? I don't leave
those rooms without all 3 bananas. Are you crazy?
I have a very strict leave no banana behind policy that has gotten me very far in life, and kept my potassium levels high as well.
Yeah, I think that makes it makes the shrines more fun to me. Is like having a personal requirement. I have to get every banana in this room, no matter what.
Yeah, and they haven't really repeated themselves either.
No,
like I did another one.
The least interesting ones are the combat ones where it's just like kill these 3 guys in 30 seconds, and it's like, okay, I would rather have a puzzle one. Bring back the wheel.
Those are at least
hashtag bring back the wheel.
Like the triangle doors, you get the cool stuff, but the ones you pound and go down and then you do the enemies. You're like, I'll just knock out these 3 guys real quick. I'll take a better.
Yeah, like they're not bad. They're inoffensive. They're like
they're inoffensive.
At least it never not feels good to punch something in the face.
Yeah, I've been tempted to skip those because I'm like, it doesn't do much for me. I just want the triangle puzzle room.
Just skip them, man. Like just do what you want to do. You know.
Yeah.
That's what.
And if I do wish, I wish Pauline had something other than.
I mean, it works. What do you want from her?
That was crazy, Alex. That you just did that.
That's a lot of Alex voice acting on these last couple episodes.
I was just about to praise the sound design in this game because like you talked about the music. The music's very good, but I also just like how everything. Like the sound is all good, and like when you pull a chunk of rock out, it sounds different than when you pull like a chunk of a tree out, and like the way it feels to like collect a bunch of gold is like I'm like I don't even think I'm collecting this gold because I need it or want it. I'm just like compulsively like I want the sound of the money going in my big bank.
I do feel that way about the bananas.
Yeah,
banana.
I thought I'd get sick of that, and I can't stop. Oh, banana. I really want to add it to our Discord soundboard.
Fun fact, my main Discord that I'm a part of, that has been a sound effect for like 5 years. And because it's from the banana.
What is that from?
They use older Donkey Kong games.
Oh,
really?
I had no idea.
Which one?
I don't remember that either. Like Returns and Tropical Freeze?
I could summon it right now, but the listeners wouldn't be able to hear it.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Well, there you go.
I don't remember it. I like those games. Okay, we just heard it. Oh, wow. Why do I have no memory of that? Man, I love those games.
I mean, it's different in Bonanza, but
it's more in your face in Bonanza. Like, there's a pose that comes with it, too. And
I wonder if that was in Jungle Beat, maybe. Was that in Jungle Beat?
It might be.
It feels like a Jungle
There
Beat
were
thing.
certainly jungle beats.
Yeah, that's where I got that from.
It's more like a sensual, like a long-winded instead of banana, like the new one. It's like
it's not as punchy.
Oh, banana. That's the older one.
Like they're remembering what a banana is
for the audio listener, you know. Yeah. Oh, banana. Yeah.
The I was gonna say, but on Pauline singing, I do wish she changed the riffs up a little bit. I joked that it sounds like when you come back from a commercial break in Hannah Montana, she always has like the riff of like, oh yeah. And she's like doing that to open the stuff up. I do wish there was like a bunch of different ones, but I think it's fine. I also do really like the, again, I was watching this streamer play the game who had no context of it. I was paying attention to the all the ads and directs and just for work and whatever, and there's a scene where Donkey Kong is confronted with Oddrock for the first time. Oddrock, by the way, sounds like a battle droid from Star Wars, which I thought was very fun. Confronted with Oddrock for the first time, and it just like sits on Donkey Kong, and then the button prompt comes up and says hold L parentheses make music, and he's like, what? Because it is a crazy, it's a crazy button to introduce out of nowhere. And then Donkey Kong does he whistle? Does he like hum?
He whistles.
He whistles. Yeah. It was like, is that I don't know that that's a thing Donkey Kong does, but it's just like
he's musically inclined.
I guess I knew the drums.
Big bongo fan.
I'm not a Donkey Kong guy.
Yeah, and it's showing, by the way.
We've been meaning to tell you for some time.
I've never felt such malice in your voice before. You're like, yeah, so shut up and get off my podcast.
Yeah, how about you put some respect on Donkey Kong?
You noob.
Do a little
He's got arguably the
journalist.
game of the year right now. Put some respect on his name.
Anyways, I like it. That's all I was trying to say. I like the banana noises.
I think I assigned you homework last week, but it was in the lost recording. I don't know if we ever talked about it on the real show.
So you assigned me homework to listen to the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze soundtrack.
Oh.
Then I listened to some of it.
To be fair, it's like a 5-hour long
I listened
YouTube
to
video.
I skipped through like the first like 15 tracks or so. This is before you sent me links. I had like looked it up. I was listening to some of it, and it didn't really do it for me. And then I asked, were there songs that you liked? And then you sent me links, and I haven't listened to those yet. So I haven't listened to like the good ones. But
pull up the link right now. Listen to the first 5 seconds. You got to say which song you're listening to.
I was gonna say, is that like a personal favorite soundtrack for you, Alex? Is Tropical Freeze
one of my favorites? Yeah. Okay.
Charles, I mean, do you go back to the Super Nintendo soundtrack? I mean, with like, there's
I love like
Aquatic
Sticker Brush Symphony and
like those are so
Aquatic Ambience is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need you to listen to Big Top Bop.
I am doing that right now.
Parentheses Boss Pompey the Presumptuous.
Wow.
Is this on?
It's a
Spotify?
Doom song.
It's a
Big
Doom
Top
song.
what?
Okay. There's a Doom song in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So that's one of them. Now go to the one below that for Windmill Hills, which is my favorite.
Everyone listening
Donkey
at
Kong
home
song.
also do this. This is everyone's homework.
Windmill Hills from Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sold. Honestly, the thing I think the thing that I didn't like from the earlier tracks is I can tell it's a fake trumpet sound. It's like a synthesized trumpet, and for some reason I'm like, why are you using Splenda? Sugar's so easy to get. You can get the real thing. It's so nice. You already wrote this whole soundtrack. Can't we get a trumpet player? And I can also feel that this is synthetic instruments, which isn't that big of a deal. I'm just such a big fan of like, I don't know, like all the we've gotten to
artisanal instruments.
Yeah, we've gotten to a big band Nintendo era, especially lately, of like Mario Odyssey, and the Mario Karts have been leaning more into like the live jazz, improvised saxophone solos on like the second lap or whatever.
Well, they can afford it now. They got that Mario movie money. They couldn't afford those.
That's what did it.
It's the only
By the way,
way
Charles, I sent you the best Donkey Kong song.
Kyle just sent me quote Donkey Kong complete soundtrack. It's just the arcade game soundtrack.
Also,
listen to that?
Is it weird that when you make your little house, the DK rap that plays, it's just the chorus of the DK rap? Like I remember the first time I was like, oh, and I sat waiting for the rest, and then it just looped the DK. Donkey Kong, and I was like, I guess
they got rid of the bad parts.
Well, I was like, is this to avoid crediting like Greg Kirkhope if we only use like a second of it?
I mean, ultimately, I mean, they have no legal obligation to credit Kirkhope. I mean, he wrote the song as an employee of Rare for, true.
He
should, to be clear. I think it's great to credit people, but it's not like it's not like Nintendo is screwing him over or something.
I think he wasn't credited in the credits of the Mario movie.
I know, which is a bummer. He should have been, for sure.
I looked up the DK rap the other day because I was just like, what's so funny? I was looking up Donkey Kong 64 because I was like, I don't know much about this game except that it introduced all these Kongs, and they mentioned the DK rap as one of the worst video games of all time. One of the worst video game songs of all time. As like a thing it was known as, and I was like, I had no idea that was the opinion. I just thought it was funny.
Really?
It didn't occur to me that people thought it was bad. I just came to it as like, wow, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Parentheses affectionate. Like it didn't occur to me that
that's where
someone would dislike it.
I always thought it was charming.
It's a meme now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it was in the movie. They knew what they were doing.
I love Donkey Kong Country. Like Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 for the Super Nintendo are like I don't know what the best term is, but like those games that defined you, right? Like, I got my first console that I owned was a Super Nintendo with Donkey Kong Country, right? And so like that game is like incredibly important to me. I loved all three of those games. And then I remember renting, and I don't like Donkey Kong 64, to be clear, to like set that up. I'm not a fan of that game. I don't like that game. I remember renting it and being really excited for like, all right, this series that's so important to me. Let's see what's next. And like that rap is like the start screen. And I just remember not even being offended, but just being like, what is happening? Like, what did I sign up for? Like the music of Donkey Kong Country is so ethereal and like moody and spooky. And then this opens up with like a clown show. I was like, it was weird. It did sort of like not give me the best first impression. I'll be honest.
Yeah. That is my impression of Donkey Kong, for the record, is the DK rap was largely, I was like, yeah, he's just goofy like that. The other thing I want to mention is when I was in elementary school, we had a project where we
was
had
that
to
like
make a
3 years ago, Charles, or something like that?
Yeah, 3 4 years ago. We had to. It wasn't that funny. Alex. We had to make a trifold poster board about a treasure, and it was like you could kind of define treasure how you wanted to, was the whole thing. And for some reason, I don't know why I wanted to do it or how I talked my teacher into it, but my treasure was Donkey Kong, the arcade game. I was like, such like a valuable treasure to whatever. I just wanted to do something about video games. I was like 8 years old, and I was like, this would be fun.
I like that. No, I like that.
I did spend weeks of the year just going to class, using the computers in the computer lab, and then just printing out in full color Wikipedia page entries of all the different Kongs. So I just had like stapled pages of like, wow, this is who Dixie Kong is. I'm really learning. I like studied Dixie Kong. I've never played a game where Dixie Kong was a playable character, but it was a thing I did like in elementary school. And I also like was so unproductive. I did have to like stay after school like 3 days before it was due to like actually finish the project, because all I had been doing was reading Wikipedia entries on the different members of the Kong family.
That's really
sounds like you're
awesome.
ready to go to the Donkey Kong theme park in Super Nintendo World now. Like you've proven yourself worthy to step through the gates.
Like I knew the Cranky Kong, Donkey Kong, like I knew Cranky Kong was in the original Donkey Kong before I had, I don't know, played I don't know if I had a Wii or not at that point. That was like what I was.
That's important. That's important gamer lineage to know. Yeah. That's what they
That's
what they ask you when you get your gamer license.
Board.
Yeah. That crystal, the crystal with the tie with the eyeballs that's in front of Donkey Kong Land. Marcus, you met that character like in Florida, right? That they quiz you.
Yeah. It was a long line, but I get it.
Let's move on to the final game that we're going to talk about today. Kyle, you've been playing World War Z VR.
All right, yeah.
Now, is it ZVR? Is it all 3 words?
Yeah, how do they do it? How do they stylize it? Is it spaced?
Is it Zavor?
World space, war space, Z space, VR.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's boring, but that's fine.
Sorry. I just want to talk about it briefly because I didn't know it was when like a lot of these VR games, they just kind of show up in my inbox. I'm like,
they do, yeah.
And I actually really like World War Z a lot. The
movie or the games?
The game, I read the book as well. I read the book. The movie's fine, but the games really surprised me because like I really like Left 4 Dead. And World War Z is one of the many that like was trying to do like a Left 4 Dead style thing. And I remember at E3 like 2017 or something maybe, I just had an appointment for it because it was like on my docket, and I really had low expectations because I was like, it's a licensed game based on this movie that was like, and the movie had been out for a while already, like, and I remember playing it and being like, oh, this is pretty good actually. Like I remember being shocked at like how good it felt, and then I reviewed it a few years later, and like it's like my favorite like not Left 4 Dead style game. I haven't played them all, but like I think
the
it's
Lies of P of Left 4 Dead.
yeah.
Oh God, I can't,
because like it's interesting, and then the zombie tech they have like really does feel like overwhelming. Like they have so many zombies on screen, and they have that thing that's in the film of them like piling up and climbing on each other, and it's like it's really well emulated in the game. So I like World War Z a lot. So I was curious about the VR version, and I played like I played through the training and stuff and the first level, and like I was impressed. Like it certainly is scaled back because it's like VR. I was playing it on Quest 3, which is like my platform of preference when it comes to VR. But like it's World War Z. You move through a series of like blockades, and you have to like survive for a few minutes and get to the next one. And like the end of this first level in Japan like had a pretty impressive asterisk for VR zombie like apocalypse. Like you're facing these like two like skyscrapers, and like what's the game that you reviewed, Marcus, with the dinosaurs where they just like Exoprimal, like there's just zombies sort of pouring off the skyscrapers and like making their way to you, and it's cool in VR. It's like I was impressed by it, so I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and highlight it. And like it's not like it's not like a platform seller. I would still say maybe like Arkham Shadow and like Resident Evil 4 for Quest. Not Resident Evil 4 Remake VR, but Resident Evil 4 Quest. Like those two games are still like the games that I'm like, if you are interested at all in VR, like those are really good and you should play them. But World War Z, like I was impressed. It was fun to shoot big hordes of zombies together with a pair of NPCs. And I was impressed by the final set piece, you know, and I imagine there's a number of other set pieces throughout the game because that's how, you know, World War Z works normally. So yeah, just want to highlight a little bit.
Do you find that the speed of the zombies is like counterintuitive to like sometimes the slowness of movement in VR? Like, are you playing with like the teleporter kind of style, or are you just walking?
I just walk. Yeah, I assume teleportation is an option, maybe. But
I think it probably is an accessibility feature because I can't do the walking in VR. I just get too sick.
I get that.
So I was wondering how that would function if there's like hundreds of zombies like tearing at me.
Yeah. It was fine. Like they're slowed down a little bit, but you don't really perceive it because of like you're face to face with them, if that makes sense. Like I'm sure if I just was playing it outside of VR, I'd be like, oh, they feel slow. But in VR, they feel like the right speed. And it's not like hundreds of zombies, you know, it's probably like, I don't know, probably less than 50. But it feels overwhelming because you're in VR, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like the shooting feels good. And it's like the one thing I ran into is like the way grenades work is instead of like chucking them like you would in other games, you actually aim and then just let go of the trigger and then like the grenade kind of shoots away from you. Which is like it's one of those things that it's like it feels weird. It feels like I should just be able to throw them. But then
it's like how they do the apples in Pokemon Snap where it just kind of like shoots out.
Yeah. But as I'm playing, it's like, oh, you know what? I actually really like being able to aim exactly where I want to throw a grenade. Like if it was like that, if I was throwing it, I would have my own throw capabilities, which would be, I would always miss, or, you know? So I actually didn't ultimately like from like mechanically, I was like, you know what? It's a little awkward, but I would rather be able to aim exactly for that pile of 20 zombies over there and get a grenade under their feet, you know? So. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, so World War Z VR seems solid.
Well, cool. I think that's going to do it for the show this week. Thank
Comes
you
out
all
next
for
month,
listening.
by the way, August 12th. So I was playing a preview build to make that.
Sorry, I started our exit way too soon.
No, I didn't have the date off the top of my head, and I was like, wait, I wasn't playing the final game, right? It was a preview build. Yeah. So
okay.
Next month it comes out.
Well, like I said, time to wind down the show. Make sure to follow the crew here on social media. You can follow Marcus at Marcus Stewart 7. You can follow Kyle at Kyle Hilliard or Kyle M Hilliard, depending on what platform. You can follow Charles at ChuckDuck365, and you can follow me at It's Van Aken. Don't forget to follow Game Informer in those places too if you want to keep up with day-to-day video game news, releases of new videos and features and that sort of thing. That's the best way to keep up with Game Informer. And don't forget, head over to gameinformer.com/subscribe. Get a magazine subscription today. And you will not only be helping us keep the lights on and keep growing, but also you're going to be getting a fantastic product in return that you can hold in your hands if you're in the stateside. So that'll do it for the week. Thank you all for listening or watching on YouTube, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Oh, banana.